Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgiman and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Chainsaw Man episode 11. So, what did I think about this week's episode? I personally loved this week's episode. I thought it was amazing, and one of the reasons I thought so is because we got introduced to a bunch of new characters that are fan favorites within the fandom. Some notable ones would be Angel, and as well as, Beam, the shark fiend. But before we get into any of that, I wanted to remind you guys to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all the content I'll be providing in this channel. I'm currently uploading Chainsaw Man, Hunter x Hunter, Berserk, my dress up darling content, so I got a large variety of content in this channel. So if you guys want to keep up to date, make sure to subscribe, and I'll really appreciate it. But with that being said, let's get into this week's episode. Okay, so we first start where we left off in last week's episode, which is pretty much we get introduced to the Future Devil. Now, the Future Devil is, very interesting because this dude is he's a wild card. This dude is wild. And, one of the reasons I love this guy is his personality. I thought the MAPPA nailed it when it came to the voice acting with the Future Devil, because the Future Devil, he's wacky and crazy and whatnot. So I really think they nailed, his personality. And I'm glad, because he was one of my favorite devils in the manga and whatnot. So we continue from where we left off in last week's episode, and we see that Aki and him, they get to meet each other, and Aki's like, hey, I want to make a contract with you. And then the Future Devil's like, hey, he's like, I love the future, man. Isn't the future sick? It rules. Why not? And Aki's just like, bro, get on with it. I just want to make this contract already. So the Future Devil's like, man, you suck. So pretty much what happens is Aki tells, the Future Devil, like, hey, whatever it takes, I'll do it, and why not? So then the Future Devil tells Aki, like, hey, put your face in my eye, in my stomach, pretty much. And he's like, and I'll be judging you, and I'll tell you what I want in return for you to be able to use my power. So pretty much he puts his head in there, and the Future Devil's like, ooh, yes, like, he loves this. And what happens is Aki gets it out. I was like, okay, I'll let you the Future Devil tells Aki, like, oh, you're alright, you're cool, I'll let you use my power. And then Aki's like, alright, what's the catch? It's like, no catch. In return, though, the only thing I want is for me to be living in your left eye, as well as, I want to be there, I want to be inside your eye so I can see everything. And Aki's like, okay, whatever. He's like, why though? And he's like, oh, because you're gonna have the most miserable death of I've ever seen. And you're like, what? You're like, confirm Aki will die a miserable death. So you're like, what the heck? And it's shocking because we as the audience were like, whoa, like, this guy can see the future, and he's telling Aki, like, hey, you're gonna die in a miserable way. So Aki, he's unbothered by it. And even the Future Devil's like, hey, would you like me to tell you how you die? And Aki's like, bro, cut it out, I don't want to know, I don't care, I just want your powers. Okay, fair enough. But continuing on, we see that actually we catch up with Kishibe and Makima, and we see that they're talking. It's like, yeah, the training's going, I hate these kids, I hate Power and Denji, can't blame him, they're two brats and why not. And pretty much Kishibe tells Makima, like, hey, did you know that the whole divisions were going to be killed and gunned down? And Makima's like, don't be silly, I was gunned, they try to kill me too. And then Kishibe's like, listen, bro, I'm not dumb. I'm like, as long as you're fighting for us, I don't care what you do. But the second I think that you're trying to go against us, then hands are off. Like, I'm gonna, don't mess with me. And Makima's like, whatever, man. So we see that Kishibe, he continues the training with Power and Denji, and he's like, all right, enough. You guys are all right now. He's like, you guys should be strong enough. He's like, strong enough for what? Oh, for our mission tomorrow. Like, what mission? He's like, oh, we're gonna attack Snake Girl and the sword guy. And they're like, what? And he's like, oh yeah, we're gonna take the fight to them. We already got everything set up. So what's gonna happen is either you guys get the jump done, or if we fail, we're gonna kill you. Like, there will be no more, Special Division 4, so you guys will be useless. So I'll personally kill the two of you. So Denji's like, oh man, hell yeah, I get to kick that guy's ass. So you're like, whoa, we're gonna have a rematch. Last time they got their asses whooped. So what's gonna happen this time? So then we cut to Snake Girl and Katana Man, and we see that they're actually plotting, a counterattack as well. They want to kill Denji because they hate this guy. Specifically Katana Man. He's like, he killed my grandpa, I need to take them down. And then Snake Girl's like, don't worry, bro, we're gonna take down all Special 4 Division tomorrow. And you see she's like, we have an actual secret weapon. And you're like, what? And the secret weapon is they actually still have zombies from, you know, the Katana Man's grandpa, when, you know, the zombie devil from the first episode. Yeah, they kept a couple of those zombies around. So now they're going to use those zombies to fight Denji and the crew. So then we cut to also Makima. We see that she's actually talking to a person of the mafia or Yakuza and why not. And she's telling them like, hey, you're going to give me the names of all the people associated with you guys. And, you know, they're like, yeah, no worries, whatever. And Makima, she's like, also, tell me all your alliances and every person that works with you, like in the higher ups. And then the Yakuza guy's like, hey, I can be telling you this, like I'm not gonna snitch on all my homies, because you know what happens if I snitch, you know, I'm gonna get killed. And Makima's like, oh, okay, you know what, it's fine, in that case, like, here. And then she gives him a bag like a lunch bag. And the guy's like, wow, you're trying to bribe me with like some irrelevant stuff like food or something? And Makima's like, oh, no. So what Makima proceeds to tell him is like, okay, so, oh, here it is. And then the guy's like, what is this? And then she's like, it's all the eyes of every brother, sister, mother, father, lover, anybody that's connected in some regard, any loved one of your association. It's, you know, their eyes. And they're like, what the heck? You're crazy. What are you doing? And then she's like, listen, we have people that can fix them and put those eyes back, you know, make them perfectly how they were before. But if you don't want to work with us, we'll take care of you as well. And then, you know, one of the guys is like, how dare you? And he tries to attack Makima. And Makima's like, you idiot. Like, and she just messes him up. And the guy's like, we're the necessary evil that Japan needs. You know, if it wasn't for us, Japan will be, you know, run down. And Makina proceeds to tell him like, no, you're just making excuses, because if anything, people like you don't deserve to live in our society. So yeah, that was pretty cold. Makima, don't mess with Makima. She, you know, she's a savage, bro. But continuing from that, we see that, you know, they begin the invasion at that hotel, or like that building, whatever. And we see that, you know, there's police outside and everybody's ready. And Kishi was like, yeah, we got no plan, but tell your officers and all them to, you know, not be in the higher levels, because we're going to send our Special 4 Division, and most of them are not humans. And what we see is that they're fiends, and we get introduced to, you know, all the fiends pretty much. We get introduced to the Shark Fiend, the Violence Fiend, the Spider Fiend, and also the Angel Devil. So, you know, a lot of new characters get introduced, and all of them are pretty badass. Like the Shark Devil, the Shark Fiend, Beam, awesome. You know, it's a shark, big head, it's cool. Spider Fiend, you know, scary, very frightening. And we also get to see Violence. Violence is cool design. And obviously Angel. And I know Angel is a fan favorite in the community. Everybody loves Angel, the Angel Devil, and why not. And, you know, I personally am a fan of, you know, the Angel Devil, and I think he's cool and awesome. So it was finally cool seeing him in the anime. You know, it's animated and we get to hear his voice, and it was great. I loved it. But continuing on, we get to see that he talks to Aki, and then he's like, hey, make sure not to touch me, and because if you touch me, I take away lifespan from people that touch me. And then Aki's like, okay, like, I'll make sure not to touch you, but here's a piece of cloth, so you can wipe the blood and wipe yourself off or whatever. And Angel's like, all right. After that, we see that Aki actually manages to find Snake Girl. And Aki, you know, he's pissed because he knows that Snake Girl obviously killed Himeno, and he's going to try to take a revenge for that. And what we see is that Aki is like, hey, I'm going to kill you pretty much. And Snake Girl, she's like, okay, Snake, spit it out. And the next thing we see is the Ghost Devil pop out. And Aki's like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And then, so yeah, the Ghost Devil that the snake swallowed, it's under control now of Snake Girl. And she commands the Ghost Devil to, you know, attack Aki. And yeah, it's a fight, and, you know, Aki starts using the ability of the Future Devil, and he's dodging these moves. He can see a little bit into the future, but not too crazy into the future, just very slightly, but slightly enough that he's, you know, keeping his own. But eventually he gets overwhelmed, and he gets, you know, trapped down by the hands of the Ghost Devil. But just when it looks like, you know, it's the end for Rocky, we see that a hand, you know, extends out, and that hand has a cigarette, and it says, easy revenge. And we find out that that's actually Himeno, like a cigarette from back in the day. Like she, we get a flashback of Himeno and Aki, and she's like, oh, you should smoke, and why not? She's trying to peer pressure him to smoke, and then Aki's like, no, it's fine. And then eventually Aki's like, I'm underage, and then Himeno's like, what, you're underage? Give me that cigarette back. It's like, I'll tell you what, I'll give you back this cigarette when you're in a bad situation and you really, really need it. And she kept her word. She gave him the cigarette, and she made pretty much the Ghost Devil, stop. Like because she got consumed by the Ghost Devil from the contract, so she was able to, stop the Ghost Devil enough for Aki to take the kill shot and take care of it. And that was epic. I loved it, and it was very emotional scene for Aki, because it really, hit home. Like, damn, Himeno's gone, and Aki, that was, a homie. Like, he was Aki's first homie in the association. So, it was very sad, but it was a great scene. And following that up, now that the Ghost Devil's out, Snake Girl was like, okay, I need to take this guy out. And she's about to summon the snake, but who comes to stop her? My girl Kobeni. She pulls the knife on her, and she's like, hey, cut that out. And then Aki's like, whoa, I thought you quit. And then she's like, oh no, we're gonna get our bonuses, so there was no way I was gonna quit just yet. And then you're like, what? But yeah, that's how the episode ends. Kobeni, greatness, bro. I'm telling y'all, Kobeni, y'all been everybody was sleeping on Kobeni, and then she messed up Snake Girl and Katana Man. And what did she do this week? She messed up Snake Girl again. I'm just saying, bro. Kobeni, goated, all right? You don't want to mess with Kobeni, bro. Kobeni build different. But yeah, I love this episode. I thought this episode was awesome, and I can't wait for next week's episode, because I believe it's either the last episode or we might have one more after that. But either way, I've been loving this adaptation, and I thought this episode was fantastic. But with that being said, what did you guys think about this week's episode? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys thought it was all right? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.